Experiment at the very least.
Yeah, at least we know for next time.
We are now live, it says.
Welcome everybody.
We are the Fan Pub and we are grateful to be back. It was a bit tough getting set up, but we're here and we're early and it's like a secret, isn't it, Al? We've not told anybody we're doing it this early, but we've got a London game on today, so we're coming on when we can and we'll run for as long as Al tells us we're going to run. He's got a list of information and questions. Obviously, as always, we'll field your questions, and if you're new to our show, don't be afraid to subscribe and send in any question, no matter how silly you think the question is. They're all relevant, and we appreciate those fantasy questions. And we are also now monetarised, so that's a big deal for us. We're finally up and running like a professional outfit.
You just made a word up there. Monetised.
Well, I'm saying monetarised. It sounds much better.
It's not a word.
This is a new word. We've just invented it.
Got ads on it now. What's going on there?
I don't know. We're probably running adverts. That's all we're doing. Is that all we're doing?
No, we're talking rubbish.
That's good.
Well.
Okay, so let's go through the fantasy news, because again, as always, these weeks, this sort of week 6, 7, 8, 9 are the biggest weeks in fantasy in my view, for teams who are either leading the pack or struggling. There's a reason that these weeks are important to you. So let's go through some of the most important questions. Al, where are we starting this week?
Right. Well, let's start with, because there's no one connected yet, because obviously we've just gone live. So let's start with the Seahawks at Atlanta. So
yeah.
Atlanta struggling already. No Matt Ryan.
It's been a disaster, really. I mean, Matt Ryan has been fantasy-wise been excellent, but results-wise has been
right,
poor.
hasn't he? Yeah.
So he's a big loss, but it's not for long though, is it? Atlanta,
no. He was touch and go to play today, wasn't he? So
yeah. So he should be back. I mean, the running game's all over the place.
Matt Shaw, would you be happy playing him this week?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to have a big impact on Atlanta, isn't it? I mean, I've got a couple of shares of Julio Jones, and I can see it's going to hurt a little bit this week, but hopefully the big
what do
man
you
gets
do with
chances.
Julio? Just hope for the best.
Well, he's a stud. You have to play your studs, don't you?
That's even with Matt Shaw.
Even with Shaw, anybody, you just have to play the studs and hope, because it's a goodish matchup. I mean, Seattle Seahawks defense isn't as phenomenal as they have been, although they are still relevant and good. I'm not denying that they've still got capability, but it could still be, if you're open, you're open, and you should be able to hit those kind of players. What do you think of some news bubbling out of Seahawks then about Rashid Penny? Have you heard about that today?
No, what's the news?
Likely to be traded very quickly.
So who's going to trade for him?
Well, they're saying he's likely to be traded to a team, so there's a very high chance he's.
So who would you see as a likely place to end up?
I mean, there are quite a few teams you could do with a running back. Man, Atlanta might be one of them for certain. You could also think about teams like maybe Tampa Bay. That's a possibility.
Yeah, but they haven't really got a running game. It doesn't matter who's the running back there.
No, that's true. I mean, but then this is what I'm hearing. So how relevant about could it be Houston? It's possible, but
what do you think? I mean, they paid a hefty price for him, a first round pick. So
I think they're looking. They've relying on their man, which is Carson, moving forward. They think Carson's the man. I think Penny, they're just looking to get what they can back for him. He looks a good player when he plays. He just hasn't had many opportunities.
I don't know. I think he flashes, but he doesn't look like someone who can sustain a run at anything. He's always injured.
Do you think he's more of a kind of player that would be better in a two-back set kind of situation?
He's a two-back set thing.
Yeah, but he's very ignored in that two-back set, isn't he, a lot of the time?
Yeah, but it's not through opportunity, is it?
No, it's a good team for running. One of the best. Well, it is one of the best in the league, isn't it? Have we had anybody viewing at the moment now? I know it's early doors.
We've got two watching.
Well, thank you for those watching in. Thank you. Do not be afraid to shoot your questions in. It's relevant. We're just discussing Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta matchup. Who do you fancy in that one? I mean, I think we have to
go for the
Seahawks in this one. I think that's fairly cut and dry. Be a good bet, that. I'd be interested to see what the Vegas line on that is, but I'd be quite happy if it's 10 points.
What do the Seahawks do? So say if they're, obviously they're 28th against the pass, so they got. I mean, Atlanta's defense is rubbish.
Yeah.
You expect Seahawks will get quite a soft lead. Yeah. What will they do? Will they run the game out? Will they keep throwing?
I think they'll just keep running. If they've got a lead, they'll and it's working. If you're running and it's working, then you'll keep running the ball and you will keep taking time off the clock, because if you've got a 2-score lead, and it'll probably get bigger, then that's what you'll do. If for whatever reason it's close, then they'll use whatever is working best. If that's passing, they'll pass. If it's running, they'll run. And if it's a combination of both, they'll just run all over Atlanta. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think great game for Russell Wilson. This one should be very good for him. He should be able to put up a lot of points today.
Afternoon, Adam. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, good to have you here.
Good to have you with us, a regular watcher. Appreciate that.
Yeah, any question you got, guys?
Any start and sit questions?
Yeah,
I'm probably sitting a bit far over here, aren't
Well, no, I think it's nice of me to hog the mic for a change. I think that's good. It's nice to have that fight. Right, so
So you got your people like Tyler Lockett and Metcalf. Would you be happy playing both of those?
I think Tyler Lockett's been relatively steady fantasy-wise. At times not exciting, but also flashing some big numbers as well.
He's done a lot better in the last few weeks, hasn't he?
And the Metcalf is a bit.
Who would
all
you
over the
play? Would you trust Hooper today? Tight end.
It's sure, but I don't know. I mean, I'm worried about all of the receivers. Even Julio Jones, even if he's wide open, can Shaw hit the side of a rowing boat by throwing the ball into the water? I'm not sure he can.
He can hit cornerback.
I mean, is it going to be?
He
one
loves
of
a pick six.
Is it going to be one of these days where it's that classic? Is it better he threw it in the ground 20 times than it was passing at all? I mean, it could be, couldn't it? It could be awful today. And I have got some shares.
They struggle to run the ball as well.
And I've got some shares of Julio, and I'm just hoping that and Calvin Ridley, so that could be a big impact for him. So I don't know.
And Hooper.
But then there's also the other side of it.
The running game's already bad.
You're chasing the game, so you're hoping a few long bombs go off. That's all you can hope for. I mean, it's a mess, isn't it, for Atlanta? But it's exactly what we thought at the beginning of the season, so that has worked exactly right. We did tell you to avoid Freeman, and that was good. So happy with that. And Calvin Ridley has been a wide receiver too, so that's also positive. He's done well.
It's a good, interesting question from Adam.
Yep.
Emmanuel Sanders, his stock has it now gone up or down by going to the 49ers?
Up by a long way. They needed a.
They're not great at throwing the ball, though, are they?
Yeah, but they needed this.
They
needed this. This is another piece to cement what is a good team. I mean, all round, I think we all agree it's a solid all round team. And you look at, like you've already highlighted last week, the running game. Multifaceted, well-balanced attack running game with some sprinkling of passes and stuff. And the only thing that's missing is that intermediate, deeper threat player who can open up more for you. And I think Sanders offers that. And he's really difficult to mark. He's a great player, so he should benefit. It should be good for him.
What does this say about the sort of also-rans like Marquise Goodwin and Dante Pettis? He looked to have a big future. Seems to have lost his way.
I think those two are kind of really behind the eight ball. I think you've got to still believe Deebo Samuels is going to be a player that's going to come on each of the next 2-3 years.
He's not going to be,
but not now, but later. So it's a good player if you're looking in Dynasty as a player to target for a cheap, maybe.
Who does it affect the most? Do you think Pettis maybe?
Pettis by a mile. Yeah, Pettis. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to affect Pettis and Goodwin.
I mean, it's going to help. Having Sanders, funny enough, is going to help.
Sanders is class. I've always
it'll help Kittle as well. Having Sanders there will help.
That's it, yeah, because Kittle's plan A, B, and C.
And that's you can't do that to a tight end. It's not fair because the big men, they're great players, but to ask them to get off their block and run another 30-40 yards, that's not fair.
And then get a hospital pass where you're going to get laid out.
That's not right. That's not going to help him at all. And there's been moments this year he's been exceptional, Kittle, and moments where you think, God, I feel sorry for him. He's been laid out a couple of times, and that worries you. So this is a good thing, I think, for him.
Okay, on to the. Let's have a look at the next game. Eagles and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Who are you fancying this one then? Because it's quite a tight matchup, isn't it? That.
Yeah, I think I have to err in the side of the Eagles. I just think there's something.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. Maybe it's because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, maybe. I just feel
hoping.
It is really close. You could see this one. It should be.
There is one big thing to note on this.
Yeah, go
on. High winds over 30 miles per hour.
That's a big deal.
So that's going to affect the game.
Well, that does actually swing it for me, actually, because the one thing, because I'm glad you gave that information, because I thought it was going to be within like a 3-point game, and it being that close, I would have given it to the Eagles, but because of the high winds, I'm going the other way now. Buffalo Bills.
It is a tight game. So
I'm going Buffalo Bills because the guy with the arm can counteract that is Josh Allen, who's got the most amazing rocket arm. So if anybody can put the ball in on high winds, it's him, utilising it to his advantage. And the other advantage he's got with that is if the wind is in his favour, that's going to add another 10 or 15 yards on any of his deep throws, so he can really launch them. So that could be really interesting.
But don't you think they'll run more though with the?
They will, but they'll take the odd shot as well. Buffalo,
I mean, look at last week between when you had the severe rain.
Just like to see him utilising
San Francisco and
I'd like
Washington.
to see him utilising more Singletary. Last week was a bit disappointing, but I guess coming off a hamstring injury, I guess it was over exuberance on my part. He just didn't get many opportunities. Let's see if that comes
I think
back.
he's got to be a watching brief for now.
Yeah.
Okay. What about people like John Brown, who, I mean, because Eagles aren't. I mean, they're really struggling at corner.
That's what I'm saying.
They're 32nd. They're last in the league against pass.
Well, with high winds. With the high winds, it helps. But then,
that helped the Eagles.
Well, it helps the Eagles, but at the same time, as I say, if the wind is with you, and if we assume the wind's going left to right, so when you're throwing to the right, that is going to carry the ball further. So when you've got your deep men, you can literally rainbow it up to them and give them every chance.
Crossfield.
That's very difficult. You don't want to throw into it. See, I don't care how good an arm you got. You don't want to throw into the wind. Throw with it, yes. Throw against it hard, but that also helps your safeties and corners because they know that as well. So safeties and corners, you always teach them to man up when it's if it's likely the quarterback's going to throw into the wind on your side, you man up, and if it's not on the opposite side, you don't. You actually drop back. You'll notice this a bit if you watch the game.
Would it be safe? What about people like? Would it be safer underneath passes?
But have to be, yeah, because close in, it's easy to connect those, even if there is high winds.
But they are the worst team to play if you're a tight end, Buffalo. So.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting.
So who are you going for?
I'm going to have to swing because of the winds. I've got to change my mind. I rarely do that, but I'm going to go Buffalo. It was a close game, but I will go Buffalo because I think that favours Josh Allen, and I think as well the high winds favour his running ability.
It's a tight game. I'm going to go Buffalo as well. Okay. You've got the Bears at the Chargers.
They were terrible last week.
Chargers at the Bears.
Do you know what really annoyed me about the Bears? It's taken me a while to get to the realisation of this, but what a crummy organisation that really has become. And I mean, it's frustrating. You've got all the real talent and weapons and everything.
Yeah, but it's not the defence, it's the offence.
It's the offence not being coached correctly. It's terrible. It really bugs me.
Is it play calling?
Yeah, it's play calling a lot of the time. There's silly situations like... Anybody who was watching it last week, there's a fantastic scenario, right? You've tried running the ball. I do this all the time to Bears. It's really frustrating. First down, run. No yards gained, right? Everybody knows it's coming. Second down, let's run some more. That's not working. So then they go to third down and long. And, the defence is ready. So you're predictable all the way through the game. It's no wonder. Do you know how many times they ran last week? 10 times. Threw the ball 50 times the Bears last week. Can you believe that?
Well, not the way Trubisky's playing.
I mean, seriously, you're talking Mitch Trubisky, not Aaron Rodgers, or one of the better passers in the league. I mean, this is terrible. They need to get better balance. That's the first thing that's got to happen, and they better start quickly because they are starting to drop games. So it better start today. I worry for them. I don't think they're going to win this week. So I'm not going for the Bears this week.
Well, the Chargers have been struggling as well, though. And Keenan Allen's knocked up as well.
I know. Well, this is another... It is a close one, but, the Bears just haven't done it. If their play calling is that bad, then, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the Rivers and the Los Angeles Chargers. That's what I'm going to do this week. It is close. It's a game of terrible teams. It really is. Fantasy-wise...
The last two games, you said... The first one, you said, I'm swinging.
Yeah.
And that next one, you said, I'm going all the way. I think... I don't know what you've been watching all week, but
well, it's obviously not been football. If you've got a question about internet, please let me know.
Hey, Mark, thanks for joining us. Oh, you changed your name, Master Samurai. I like it.
Like it? Yeah, very good.
So you're going for the Chargers over the Bears, though, just because of the offense?
Yeah, just the offensive scheme's terrible. If you can look, if you're this far into the season and you're calling 50 pass plays with Mitch Trubisky at the helm. With a running game you've never established yet. Actually, it's a very talented running game and you're not utilising it.
I heard somebody called Trubisky the Bortles of the Northwest.
It's a fair comment. Yeah, it's a fair comment. I mean, look, you have to be honest. Look,
is that fair on anyone?
Well, he should be making strides forward, right? So as a quarterback this year, particularly this year, you would expect to see some movement forward. Yeah, the odd stumble, of course, but not like this. I don't know whether it's him or it's the play call, a combination of both. But what I do know is the play calling isn't helping his situations at all, and I think that's down to the coaching staff. Whether if the coach is calling it on the side, because again, this is that we don't actually know fully. I think it's a combination of factors because really the head coach should overview the plan of the week, make his decisions on if he's happy with what people want to coach and what the plan is, and then give insight as the game unfolds. A good head coach can make a difference not only at half time, but seeing something and say, keep doing it. I'm a great believer that if something works, you keep ramming it down the opponent's throat until they stop it. And once they stop it, you tweak it slightly and see if they can stop it again.
They haven't had any success doing anything, really.
They can't do a thing. And I'm worried about them at the moment because their play calling sucks.
Okay, so
massively.
Who would you be happy playing here? Trubisky?
No.
Montgomery?
I'm worried, if I'm honest at this stage.
Allen Robinson?
I have to play Montgomery in some leagues because, frankly, you need a running back, and that's my only hope in some cases. So you're kind of looking at your team and going, okay. And you know what you're on for. You just need that touchdown, so we'll have to see. Yeah. But they're not getting in close enough, and the way they're playing is poor.
Alan Robinson, would you be happy with him?
Well, he's played. To be fair,
he's been the one.
He's been the lights out player for the Bears.
I wouldn't say anyone's been a lot, but he's been the best.
He's been the best player, and you know, I will say this: he has done stuff this year where I actually there was a player a few years ago, obviously when we thought this guy was great, and a couple of years where he was lost in the wilderness. This year, on this team, with what he's doing in that team, I think this is a player we should be looking at very heavily for next season as a real candidate. If the right things go right for him, he looks excellent. He's done really well in really difficult circumstances. I mean, 10 passes last week, and he was still relevant. I mean, that's all you need to know. Alan Robinson, well done.
So what about the Chargers then? Rivers, yeah, Bears, tough match.
Well, Rivers has been all over the place fantasy-wise all year. Disappointing. He's up and down like a blooming yo-yo. You don't know what you're going to get out of him.
It's been brutal at quarterback, hasn't it?
You know, Melvin Gordon coming back's been crap. He hasn't helped the whole team.
I've got a 2 QB league where I've got Matt Ryan and Patrick Mahomes.
Jesus Christ! I mean, I know you're paid. I mean, there's a few people who've got quarterback issues this year. It has happened.
So I'm playing. I've got the only player I could get with his 2 QB.
I've taken the gamble this week. Put Eckler in because in a couple of leagues I have to look for the boom, and he's probably one of the best players in the league.
It's tough against the Bears, though.
Of course it is. Everything's tough now.
Melvin Gordon, you'd be happy.
No. And I've got to play him in a couple of leagues as well.
Henry?
Do you think I'm smiling?
Oh,
I'm crying inside with a couple of these calls. I know that. It's bad at the moment. That's tough. It's a really difficult matchup. Wouldn't it be no surprise if the Bears defense is the hero of the day? It wouldn't be any surprise, would it?
Yeah.
You know, frankly, they are the ace in the hole. But I'm still going Los Angeles Chargers because I think the Bears defense is being worn down by the offense.
They're only they're the 24th against the run, so not good. They're in the bottom 9.
Because they're being expected to be out there for most of the bloody game, so it's really hard for them. Anyway.
Welcome, Bitsource. I'm not sure what your first name is. I know you've been watching for a while.
Yeah, we've had you on here before, and thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate that. And if you do have any comments, please do shoot them over, guys. That's what we're here for.
Comments or questions.
We'll take them. Anyway, Al, what's next?
Giants at the Lions.
Interesting. Another good game, isn't it? It's a quite good game.
Well, this one, you never know what you're going to get, do you, sometimes with these teams like this?
Well, I quite fancy, it's one of them games, it's not given that it should be, in theory, a Detroit easy win, but I don't think it is. Kerryon Johnson's gone now for the season on IR, I think. That's pretty much over, isn't it? Do you agree? Pretty much done.
What was that?
Kerryon Johnson pretty much done for the season.
Well, yeah, he's on IR.
So he's gone.
Yeah. So
and now you have to put that massive red flag around the guy. He's had his first year in the league where he got injured. Now he has his second year in the league where he was injured. He's going to be a guy I can guarantee we'll be looking at very carefully as we move into next year's draft guide.
Yeah.
Giving him some serious consideration because that's 2 years in a row now. Very worrying.
You can say the same with Cook though. We were still high on him.
Oh well, that's slightly different, but that's for another time. We haven't probably got time to talk about it here, but. We highlighted Cook, but there are many reasons why we've highlighted Cook, and that was a very bold call because it's not what everybody thought. No, he's done well, hasn't he? Cook's on for 2,000 yards, doing well.
Right, let's just look at Bitsource's team. So he's got Watson at QB. Well, that could be a good day today because
should be a good day. Yeah.
They got the Raiders.
Yeah, you got a good one there.
I just wonder if they get Kenny Stills more involved today if he's properly fit because someone's got to do the Fuller role and he's a guy that's.
I think he could benefit a bit more today. Should see more targets, that's for sure. Yeah.
Obviously good for Hopkins.
Hopkins should be great for him today. He should come on leaps and bounds and has looked better each of the last couple of weeks, which is good.
Juju and Sutton. Obviously, you're not sure what you're going to get with Juju, but it's a good matchup.
It's a great matchup.
Got Miami, haven't they?
But the problem is with Juju is, again, it's a yo-yo for this year. We were very low on him going into this year. I wasn't high on him at all, and it wasn't. We didn't have any information on Ben or any of that at the time, and the reason was the transition of the team. And what we've then seen is they've lost. Not only have they lost their key receiver and key running back, they've now lost the quarterback. So that was our fear. That's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
And now
it's not really even Juju's fault, is it?
No, it's a good player going forward. If you got him in dynasty, of course it's a hold. You don't trade away. You know what the bloke's capable of, and who knows what Pittsburgh might do in the draft. We don't know yet. So that's good. But for redraft, it's a nightmare because he's been a yo-yo player all year long. You just don't know what you're going to get. More often than not, it's not good enough.
You got Cortland Sutton as well, so that
Well, you'd expect an uptick for him.
He now gets the wide receiver 1 role though.
Yeah,
because before, obviously, Sanders is taking that. He's taking the best corners.
He should have the wide receiver 1
role. Is he good enough to...
But that's the question. I don't think he is yet.
He should get volume.
Yeah. Volume can... Look, opportunity can trump everything. We know the guy's talented. Opportunity can give him that platform to succeed in. It's just whether they can run the ball efficiently well enough is going to be the big key. It will be interesting today. I think there's an opportunity there. We may see some good fantasy numbers coming out of several players in that.
I think, are you asking whether we usually start Juju over Alshon Jeffrey? If that's the case, then I'd think yes.
Yes, I would.
Because high winds in Buffalo, so...
Yeah, I would. If that's your choice, absolutely.
And Buffalo are a good defence as well, I think.
The high winds are going to have an impact, and I don't think that favours our dear friend Mr. Wentz. I don't think that helps him. So,
No. Both have got strong arms, haven't they, Wentz and Allen? But with high winds, it makes it
Allen's
tough.
A different ball game.
30 mile per hour winds.
I've never seen anybody throw 80-yard bombs the way he does just for fun. He's just casually lobbing them up. So if you've got that capability, what have you got left in your locker if you need to use the wind against you? It's amazing.
I think you're starting the right too with Juju and Sutton, because Sutton's going to get bombarded with targets. It's
got to be target opportunity.
No one else is there. Really?
It's got to be opportunity. So yeah, good. You're lucky to have those. That'd be good. Should be good for you.
I mean, Evan Ingram's got a good matchup. We're just talking about that actually. The Lions, they're 26th against the tight end. So
it's all over the place for the Lions. You could see the Giants actually giving them a real good game today, and it could be a lot of fantasy points in this one.
Well, you never know what Lions you're going to get, do you?
No. Kenny Golladay's been the real hero.
I suppose a good
and
question.
And then Marvin Jones had a great game last week.
A good question is Ty Johnson.
Yeah.
Will he get the lion's share of the?
That was very good.
Lion's share of the carries.
Yeah.
Or will it be a more of a timeshare?
Well, I think he will. But the question is, how effective is he going to be with him? Well,
against the Giants,
it's an opportunity, and he's probably going to make the most of it. So he should do okay today.
So this week should tell us a lot, really.
We'll learn a bit about him as a player. Is he just a 2-down back? Is he a 3-down guy? Is he how do they utilise him? But he's got a great opportunity. So if you've got him, and you're in a game where again you're looking at your opponent and trying to work out what to do, you play the percentages. If you need a little bit of a boom, this is probably the right kind of player. If you've got better options where you think you don't necessarily need to use him, then fine.
I think I'd the Lions edge this one, don't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Even with Barkley's back, and it's a good matchup for Barkley.
It's a good game for fantasy. There should be some fantasy points here, but I think the Lions must edge this one. Surely.
Yeah.
But then if Daniel Jones can do, bring them out into themselves, he's capable. He's doing everything he can. He's really done well, I think, since coming into the league. Plays with his heart on his sleeve. I like him.
Yeah, he's added that he's got Fuller and Devontae Adams out. Not a lot you can do then. You can.
No, I got Devontae Adams in a couple of leagues. It's just one of them injuries. Turf toe's horrible. We knew as soon
it always lingers, doesn't it?
Yeah, as soon as he got it, we talked about this moment. I said this won't.
That's
be
what
a 1
AJ
week.
Green gets every
year.
We
won't be. This isn't a 1 week deal.
AJ Green gets
and you could tell it wasn't because of the way he went to the ground and the way he was holding his foot. It's a horrible injury because you can't cut, you can't turn, and as soon as you make the first cut in training, you're back on the ground because you're in pain.
Agony, yeah.
It's a really hard one because it's a really difficult tendon injury. Somebody described it. I've never had it, so I don't know. And the best description they said it's like a guitar string. So as soon as you make that turn, instead of everything clicking together and being harmonious, it's as if it's counterproductively fighting against you. So your toes swells.
Guitar wasn't harmonious when I was playing it.
No, so it really hard work. So there we go. So it looks like we may have some more questions in. What
yes,
have
we have. He added that Ty Johnson timeshare, but the talent I don't think maybe there. I mean, we just don't know with him, do we? We haven't really seen enough of him.
We'll know after this week. But you are right. It is a worry. But
I mean, they got rid of CJ Anderson to put him at number 2, so they must see something in him. But yeah, it's a different thing carrying the load.
He's now got to carry it, so that's a tough call.
Adam says Sanders, Carlos Hyde, and Tevin Coleman start 2 from 3 standard scoring.
Sanders, Coleman, and
is that Emmanuel Sanders? I take it, rather
must
than
be.
Miles. Hyde's got an okay game against.
I think Sanders and Hyde is what I would go with. I wouldn't go with Coleman. Just don't fancy it this week.
I don't know, but you don't know what you don't know. I don't know actually because
no quarterback, so the passes is going to be different.
I mean, Coleman has been getting the lion's share of the blame.
Blame. I think blame is correct.
From you.
I think has he done enough with it?
No, I don't think he has.
No.
Panthers are 12th against a run, so it's a tough one really.
I think I'd still go with those two, Sanders
and Hyde.
Yeah. I'm not touching Coleman in this one. I don't like Galantis' situation.
I mean, it's Sanders' first game though, so we don't know how much he'll be in.
Oh, he'd be fine.
He is a class player.
The difference with a guy like this is not a player who's new into the league. This is a guy who's been around the block and played in some teams, so he knows all the routes. He clearly knows the entire route tree. That's the first thing I look at as a coach. So all I've got to do is show him our playbook and some of the nuances and differences. If he can just learn the audibles for this week, whichever ones you're putting into the game, and you say to him, and that's the way to play with some of these veterans. Listen, look, you and the cornerback just liaise between each other in the hot. This is the plays that we're going to be calling. These are the signals. If it's going to be a pass play,
how much you rate Jimmy G though? How much you rate him?
Well, let's put it this way: anybody associated as a New England quarterback hasn't lost a game yet. Pretty good, isn't it? This year, they're all good. I mean, whether it's him.
I don't know if he has been that good though.
Well, he's done what he's
had one good game, I think.
Well, I think the thing with him is his system guy. Clearly, he's a system guy. That's why Bill picked him, because he will do what he's told.
What Brady's been doing for years.
And 49ers know this as well. And they're well coached, well drilled. You can see that, and everything's coming together. And I've got to be honest. I feel more excited about them moving forward.
About Brissett, he's a New England guy. He's lost games. Not many, though.
Not many. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Brissett. But let's be honest, between the three of them, I think that's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't be disappointed with them. Right. What are you looking at now? Another question?
No, just discussing the thoughts on the Devin Singletary going forward. It's a watching brief, isn't it?
We know the talent's there.
Yeah.
Hopefully
we just don't know how healthy he is yet.
We got to hope he hots up as the season moves into high gear, particularly for the playoffs. I mean, you may still have an absolute league winner on your hands.
I think if he's 100% fit and the wins play a part and they have to run the ball a lot, we might see a bit of him this week.
I hope so.
At the moment it's hard to trust, I think.
Yeah.
But to see,
he's definitely
talented. We've seen that, but
yeah. And then we'll have to see what happens from there. But I'm sure he'll come back. He'll come back to his best. Anyway, what's next on your list? Or questions?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, the 49ers did outcoach the Browns a few weeks ago. I mean, the Browns have been very underwhelming, considering the talent they've got and the hope and hype they got before the start of the year.
It hasn't gone well, let's be honest.
They've got New England this week.
I'm as disappointed as anybody in that team, and I think the problem is that what we have to be honest and say is you take a step back from anything you do prediction-wise, and you have to go. It comes back to the key question, which is schedule over everything else.
Because they got New England away this week.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I mean,
New England are the worst.
Should we shed some light on ourselves as it is getting dark? Let's put some light on. Do apologise, might go orange slightly, but there you go.
New England ranked 1 against quarterback points, 1 against running back points, 4th against wide receiver points, and 2nd against tight ends.
Well, they've had the perfect schedule. Let's be honest, New England, you haven't faced anything that I would call.
The Browns are probably one of the hardest they've played.
Yeah, but nothing that.
What was Darnold doing last week? He said he was seeing things.
He was terrible. Seeing things, he definitely wasn't seeing the right things.
I don't know what he was seeing.
He wasn't seeing anything. You were just seeing New England. You meant to see your own players. Cleveland, it's an absolute show, isn't it? That's the problem, and I want to use the 4-letter word. It's an absolute show. It's not good, is it? I mean, it's disappointing to say the least. I mean, Mayfield has definitely taken a step back in my estimates. I feel sorry for Odell Beckham, who just simply can't catch a break, really. You've come into Cleveland, they should be riding a crest of a wave. I think the player, for me, that's looked good is Chubb, but then you worry because they're always behind in games now. Always seem to be chasing a lot of the time, and then you think Hunt's round the corner as well. So this could be really messy.
Yeah, I saw him traded today actually. I bet
the Dynasty League.
Yeah,
he's always good, Hunt. I think.
So we'll see if that's a good thing going forward.
Might help him a bit.
That was interesting to me. 2 firsts for Chubb. So not a bad price. And I think there's some other bits involved as well.
Yeah.
Jets at Jags. After this week, the Jets do get. I mean, the Jags aren't even the worst defense to play, really.
No.
17th against the run, 19th against. They're in the middle of the table against the pass.
And the Jets are hardly lighting it up.
But the Jets on the road to the Jags and how they played last week.
Yeah, you're
probably going to fancy the Jags.
You got to fancy the Jags.
Although the Jets only give the 7th least against the.
I'll be honest. I can't. What I'm seeing from the Jets concerns me as well. I mean, I can't go against the Jags this week. I just can't. The Jets really concern me as a team. There's some seriously bad play calling in that. Some real issues. I mean, you're not even getting Le'Veon Bell some space. I mean, it's just awful, frankly.
Adam asks, Sammy Watkins is on his waiver wire. The boot, Sammy
Yeah.
the boot.
Well, you pick him up.
Would
for
you-
down, yeah, you pick him up for down the stretch.
For
just in
DJ
case.
Moore, would you drop DJ Moore for him?
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, I probably would because I think there's DJ Moore's just
One's playing with Mahomes and one's playing with
Yeah.
Kyle Allen or a half-fit Cam
half fit
Newton.
Cam Newton. I don't like that situation. We didn't like Cam Newton before the start of the season, so that's panned out good. I'm pleased about some things that we predicted this year, and other things I'm disappointed with. But the good thing is the ones that are hit are really big hits, so that's good. So we'll have to see. I would drop DJ Moore and just take a gamble. I'm not hugely a Sammy the Boot fan, as you know, but the situation, opportunity, and down the stretch, if you've got a team that's going to be into the playoffs, it could be good for you. Could be useful.
Yeah, Jags D is a bit underrated, and obviously they've lost a big, one of the best corners in the game, haven't they? So that hurts them a little bit, but they're decent up front, aren't they? As well.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They always run the ball. That's Egg's sort of game plan. Then
Yeah.
they run the ball first with Fournette. Try and keep it tight on defense, and it's a bit the same. They remind me of the Titans are the same sort of teams. They try and run the ball a lot.
And it just doesn't happen.
They try and stifle your defense.
And it just doesn't happen. This is what you're talking about. Some of these teams, they've been talking about the same philosophies for like 3 years, and it's not happening.
I think Derrick Henry or something. He had some last week. Was it last week? He had the first touchdown that wasn't 1 yard of the season.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
last
I mean,
five or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be honest, right? So this is going to be really interesting, right? So this often over here in the UK, a lot of people watch Red Zone, okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's a good way of watching. It's a great way of keeping engaged throughout the game.
If you're a fantasy fan,
It's fantastic. But I like to watch the games because exactly these reasons, because you start to see some tendencies and trends by this start of the season now, and you start picking up on that, which you can use to your advantage hopefully. But there's some Al picks out a cracker there. I mean, most of his touchdowns have been 1 yard. I mean,
Yeah.
it says it all,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Says it all.
Question
But
of the
yes.
day: what are your favourite game day foods? Right. Well, I've just been to America. I had what did I have? I had some Texas barbecue the first week. I had a big plate of nachos
Yeah.
in week 5. I'm trying to remember what I had for a burger of some sort. So,
For me,
what do you normally eat?
I'm terrible. I like to pick. So on game days like today, what I like doing is I love it when I've got different crisps or I've got different drinks, and I like sugar
Or
drinks.
chips if you're American.
Yeah, chips they're called, aren't they, over there? But I love that kind of stuff. So, and particularly the more spicy, the better for me. And I love it when you can crack open a cold bottle of Coke or something. I love that when you're in the middle of a game. It's just great. While you're watching all your scores, not necessarily coming in.
I'm normally breaking out champagne, Sean, when
Well, you're probably
celebrating
not.
my victories.
Yeah, well, you're probably doing that before they start, Al.
Yeah.
You're a quietly
And then,
confident
but-
person.
Oh yeah, and by the end I'm drinking like.
Yeah, when I'm watching my opponents get 16
I'm drinking
points,
water by the end as it's all turned sour.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not bitter, but when your Thursday night opponent has a 16-point kicker and redraft standard, you think perhaps it's not your year.
No,
Perhaps
that
it's
was
not gonna
weird.
happen.
Thursday night.
That was a strange
I think
game.
Dan said it in our Discord group. Throw a big throw to Diggs.
Yeah,
Field goal. Throw the Diggs. Field
Field
goal.
goal,
That's all
yeah.
they kept doing all night. Worked though, didn't it? I suppose.
Mm.
Right. Let's talk about the London game.
yeah,
Bengals at the Rams. Bengals have been.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean
They've
they're,
been a bin. Well, again,
they're
if you,
sneakily catching like
if
Miami
you-
for the worst team.
well,
Really,
if you
aren't
highlight again, this is good because it highlights what we said. So I was big against Mixon this
You
year.
were, yeah.
Big, right? For lots of reasons, team ethos, everything, the way they run
they
the
were
game.
crap last year. Why?
And
why are you so?
Again, it shows, with the good thing we've done this year, if we've done nothing else right, but we have done some good things, Al.
Here we are.
We've highlighted bus players very, very well again. That's 2 years in a row. So we've highlighted some fantastic bus players. I'm really proud of those.
Yeah.
Where you can actually say, irrespective of the ones you've missed on, because that's a gamble. You take some bold predictions. That's what they are. And some people said at the beginning of the year, going for Baker Mayfield as the number 2 in fantasy wasn't bold. Well, it is now. Isn't it? It really is now. I mean, he's not going to make it now, is he? He's been terrible. But
Try waking Sriracha cashews.
well, I like the sound of that.
I like
Yeah.
cashews.
And
I don't know
cashews,
what
I love.
sriracha
I
is.
love. Yeah, I love peanuts.
to
I love
look that
cashew
up.
peanuts as well. So that sounds really interesting. There used to be Punjab flavoured crisps. Phileas Fogg did Punjab flavoured crisps. They were delicious. I would have them every game, but they've stopped doing them.
Yeah, you're the only one that liked them. Clearly.
Probably, yeah. I bought the shares out, and then it went bust.
I think. I mean, Cincinnati are not bad against that. They don't give up many yards, but throwing, but they're terrible against the run. So Gurley could actually have a big game today.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, he's been okay, but he's not He has
Brown's
got a
out as well, isn't he?
He's
So
got. Yeah, he's
will
got.
we see any of Henderson?
Yeah,
at
we
Wembley
should.
today?
We should do. Yeah, and don't be
But not
surprised.
much.
Well, we may do. Don't underestimate the fact that we are pinning. You know, I've said this. The concern with Gurley's is still there. There have been games where the only thing that's made him relevant is a touchdown. Yeah, fantasy wise, there have been times where even last week wasn't great.
You think he's going to get a few chances against the Bengals?
You would hope so. Yeah, you would hope so. But then again, you know, he's shielding a lot. He's shielding. I'm really worried about him still. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If he makes it through the season, it's amazing. But he's still got to hit 200 points, and he's not way off that. So he's not doing that at the moment.
Well,
So-
can he stay healthy down the
It's can he
stretch as
stay
well?
off it? So, you know, the good thing is, again, not a second round worthy player yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, we got a recipe. Mix sriracha with sriracha honey. I think that's sriracha.
That sounds
And
good.
brown sugar. Pour over cashews and bake for that 3, 2, 5, 10 minutes.
Like it.
I'll send him off to do it.
Thank you very much. I'll have a look at
You
that.
get that
later.
doing.
Thank
I'll
you.
finish this off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Cheers.
get the-
Thanks. Yeah.
Right.
Please keep your questions coming in. If you are new to us, do subscribe and don't be afraid to send up any questions you like.
The cards are the Saints. Now, Kamara's out again. So I think it's their bye week the week after. But it sounds like Breeze is going to play.
Yeah, it sounds like Breeze is back, so that's
I haven't
fine.
checked the inactive.
Yeah, we'll probably know more in a little bit, but I think from what I read today, he's down to play. So I think in one league I've got Breeze, and I'm probably going to play him because it's a good matchup for him this week. Yeah, Kamara's been poor this year, to be honest. But then, is he injured? I think he must be.
Well, it's because they've lost Breeze as well.
Yeah.
I mean that.
They've been able to focus on him and take away much of what he does. So it's been hard for him. And
He's
I think
been
he
alright.
may,
He's been
yeah,
alright.
he's been okay. But I think he may have been carrying an injury of some kind as well.
Do you think maybe if you're in a keeper league and you're not doing that well, or you're in a dynasty league, maybe Kamara's a good person to trade for right now? He's going to be at his lowest probably.
I think so.
Because
Yeah.
once him and Breeze are back together and they're both
It should
healthy,
be great. Yeah, it's a fair shout, Al, and it's certainly something to consider. Certainly, particularly if you're doing well and you want to try and give yourself a big edge to win it.
So you've got a question from LT who's joined us.
Hello, LT.
Should I start Rodgers or pick from Winston, Minshew or Jones?
No, you play Rodgers.
I think you play Rodgers.
You never deviate. I made that mistake. I've made that mistake just recently. 6 weeks of okay play from Rodgers, and then the week I put him on the bench, he puts up nearly 50 fantasy points. Well, more for me.
Minshew's got. The Jets are only allow the 7th most points for a quarterback, so I wouldn't probably bother with Minshew. They run the ball first as well.
Yeah.
Winston, you don't know which one's going to turn up, the good one or the bad one.
It's an evil twin, isn't it?
I think he has. He's got.
There's a side of him that's really weird. Like there are times when you think, yeah, this is the next big quarterback. There are other times where I think this is the next quarterback I'm benching forever. So you don't know what you're going to get with him. That's
I
absolutely
certainly
true.
wouldn't trust Daniel Jones at the moment.
No,
Although
well, it's a good matchup this week, but I still think you never deviate from, particularly after he's had a high. When he's had a high game,
you're talking about an established, fantasy relevant quarterback against one that.
Well, they
Yeah.
opened up for the first time in a few weeks. They opened the game plan up for Rodgers, and he responded with that. So don't deviate.
Okay, Bucks at Tennessee. I mean, we actually going back to cards. We talked about Edmonds last week. We
Yeah.
said he looked a good player, and he had another good week.
He had a great week.
So he's starting to gradually become.
I-
David Johnson's out. Again,
I
isn't
like-
he? So-
Again, this is another good. I'm glad you're highlighting him because again, David Johnson not on our radar for this year. I wasn't a
No.
fan, and I was very against picking him high. I didn't want to pick him high this year. I like Chase Edmonds, but I think even the cards are warming to him quite a lot now, and he could have relevance moving into next year.
Tough game against the Saints, though.
Oh, it's very hard. Yeah, I mean, this is a different week. You'd have to go to Saints here, really. Even though they've got some issues, but they have to go.
Thoughts on Lamar Jackson the rest of the year? Would you start him over Deshaun Watson, presumably?
Well, you have to. I mean, the guy's on.
I think it depends on the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, he's on great form, isn't he? I mean, if you look at where he sits at the moment in the charts for quarterbacks, he's right in there. I can't bench a player that's in that kind of form. I think you have to roll with that. He's capable of anything on any given week.
Like this week when Watson's playing against Oakland, you can't not play him.
No, well, that's if you had.
Watson can put up big points.
If you had both those, then you're right. You can play the matchup game.
I'd be happy to have one of them. Then mine
yeah,
too.
if you've got both, then you can play the matchup game. That's great. But if you've only got Lamar Jackson and somebody like Wilson, for example, you just play Lamar Jackson when the opportunity is there every week. I don't deviate that, but It depends on the situation. If, as Al says, if you've got both, fair enough. Can't argue.
Right, the Bucks at Tennessee got some.
It's a tight game.
Tennessee run a lot, but Bucks only give up the third least points to running backs. Bucks quite good against the run this year.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look an exciting game, does it? I mean, it's one of them you just think it's going to be very, very close.
Tennessee don't give up much against the pass. They're Goodwin and Evans,
and then they haven't got much of a running game. The Buccaneers. I think I'd have to edge it. You got to edge it to Tennessee, surely on this one. Surely they've just got enough to take this game.
I don't know. You don't know what Bucks are going to turn up. That's the thing. You don't know what Winston's going to do. He's a bit of a loose cannon, isn't he? I tell you, I think who is a good tight end you can pick up. Perhaps if you're really, really struggling, Cameron Brate. He's only 2.7 in DraftKings this week, and I've tipped him to be first touchdown scorer just because he is a red zone threat, and he's like 18, 20 to 1, something like that. So
good shout, good bit of advice. Al's very good at these sort of things. So
yeah, I've hit a few recently.
Yeah, so don't be afraid if you're into that sort of thing. A small punt just to see what happens. He's very canny when it comes to this sort of stuff. So anyway, any other questions come through, or continue on with your questions?
Yeah, my RBs are Chubb, David Johnson, Devin Singletary, Mattison.
Yeah.
And have rookies Darrell Henderson and Damian Harris on the rookie bench. I mean, Damian Harris, is he injured or is he just not? Is he just a game day sick?
Yeah, they haven't played him. I'm going to hold if you've got space. I'll hold. If you haven't, then you just drop when it's convenient. But if you've got space and you want to take the risk, I'd hold. I just think there's still something good to come out for him.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, OJ Howard, you're right. That he's been a real disappointment this year, hasn't he?
Terrible.
I mean, he's a young tight end. He's done pretty well the previous years before he went down into last year.
We said this about tight ends. You know, we spoke about this before the start of the season. We've been very high on this point, right? It's a really important point. It's certainly been our draft guide for next year about this very critically. Is the tight end pack? There are always one or two or three. That's all. Any given year, 1, 2 or 3 tight ends of real relevance, whether they're 160 plus players, but they're very rare in standard. I'm talking scoring. They're rare. The rest of the chasing pack is anywhere between 80 and about 100, 105. The rest of the chasing pack is just diabolical. So actually, tight ends are almost. There's so much. I don't understand it, right? When I say this, I don't get why anybody would focus very heavily on it because it can go wrong. I mean, if you look at the Titans this year.
Actually, the ones we tipped have done pretty well.
Done the best.
Mark Andrews,
Waller been a real revelation. That's where you win because you picked those players up later and you didn't pay a high premium for them. So
I've got a lot of
Waller's been a
lot of Waller.
Waller's really helped me in a couple of leagues. Actually,
you
really,
stole him from me.
I know.
You shouldn't be listening. This is for them, not you.
I've taken it.
Stop stealing players.
I take anybody I like. That's what I do. That's what we do. The Magpies, aren't we? We've got to steal whatever we can. If we think it's a good bit of advice, you steal it, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. Last game. I think we're about 8 minutes before kickoff. So,
sure.
Any last questions? Get them in quick. Raiders at Texans. We talked briefly about Watson.
Yeah.
And Hyde and Hopkins. It should be all right games for all of those.
Yeah, they should be fine. Yeah, no issues
there. What about Raiders? Because Wallace, you think Waller will get a?
I think the tight end we just spoke about. Yeah, I agree. I think he'll get his share and he'll have chances because they'll be chasing. I think throughout the game, so there should be plenty of opportunities for him. Jacobs looks a bit banged up, so I'm a bit concerned about if he plays, what we're going to get from him. And again, it's easy.
Terrell Williams is banged up. I'm not even sure he's active.
I don't even know if he'll be active today. And do you know what worries most?
They've got Zay Jones though.
Well, that's going to help. But you know what's most worries me about Josh Jacobs is it is very easy for any signal caller to key on him, spy on him, and double team him. So I think it's going to be a really tough match. So if I was the Raiders, if he's even remote, if he's not, if he's 70%, just rest him a game, give him a rest. Don't ruin an asset. He's played well, so don't ruin him. But we'll see. Any questions coming through?
Got Noah Fant on my rookie bench too, passed on TJ Hawkinson. I think Noah Fant could have a bigger role with Sanders moving on.
I think it's a better situation for Noah Fant now. I agree with Al. Moving forward, I would agree.
Who knows, really?
Hawkinson showed a flash, but it was early doors against a poor team.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done much since. And as I tried to explain to my son, who thought he'd found the second coming of Shannon Sharp, the truth is, you're probably going to have to wait and see as the season unfolds. And what's actually we've got is a player that, could be very, very good in a couple of years. Absolutely.
Thoughts on Bitcoin? I think we'll leave that to you because I think that's what you dabble in, isn't it?
What's that?
Bitcoin.
Bit of Bitcoin, like Bitcoin, yeah. Bitcoins are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin's a
You've
good.
still got that big stash of Bitcoin.
Always a great believer in a bit of Bitcoin. Yeah, it was very well. It was a good thing to get into back in the day, for sure.
Right, I think that'll do it, guys, because we're 5 minutes away from kickoff. So
You may have your teams to set up. So anyway, as Al says, thanks very much.
Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.